Hey, Jessie here from Jessie on a Journey, coming to you live from a hotel room in Boston. I'm literally sitting on a stack of pillows in the corner of the room right now just to get some of the window light on me. So apologize for the kind of distracting background. But anyway, I wanted to create a new type of video that I haven't done yet, where I just tell stories about the experience of being a solo female traveler, both good and bad. I get a lot of questions about what that experience is like, how people can stay safe, how they can prepare. So I want to share those kinds of stories to help empower people, mainly women, to feel confident traveling solo. So this first video is actually going to be more on the negative side. I'm going to share two true stories that happened to me on the road dealing with sexual assault. This isn't to scare anyone. I still travel solo. Both these things happened to me years ago, but I think it's important to share these stories so that people understand, what they might need to prepare for, what can happen, but also realize that you shouldn't let this hold you back. You just want to always have as much information as possible. Knowledge is power, and just make smart choices on the road. And, remember that things can happen anywhere. I've had things happen to me in my home of New York as well. So not meant to scare anyone. I am a big advocate of solo female travel. But yeah, I've written about these stories on my blog. I'll link to the post in the description box, and you can read about it if you prefer, but I've never done a video just kind of talking about it. So here goes. The first story I'm going to share happens in Chile. I was backpacking South America, this is my early 20s, but for 3 or 4 months, from Brazil to Ecuador. So I was in Chile, in Patagonia, and I booked this tour in Torres del Paine National Park. And, starts off okay. We get up super early. The driver picks everyone up and we go. And then we get to the park and we start taking photos. And the guide, who I had been chatting with on the bus and everything, he was about my age, maybe a little bit older, got the idea that maybe we were dating or something. And he started coming up behind me, grabbing my butt. At one point, when no one was really around, he even pulled me into him and kissed me, which, looking back, I was really young. I didn't know what to do in the situation. And in my mind, I wanted to tell someone, but I didn't want to ruin anyone's trip, which now being in my 30s, I absolutely would have said something, even if it was just finding a couple and saying, can I hang out with you? I feel a little bit uncomfortable around the guide, just to have some people around me. So anyway, things like this keep happening during the tour. Even at one point, we stop in the bathroom and I come out and he has bought me hot chocolate, and I don't want him to do that because he didn't buy anyone else a hot chocolate, and it was just very awkward. So he kept kind of asking me to hang out. Oh, we should hang out, we should hang out. And I didn't want anything to do with this, but anyway, he knew where I was staying because the truck had picked everyone up. So I was staying at a bed and breakfast, a really small one, woman owned, and luckily, I told this woman this crazy story. I'm like, yeah, I went, the tour was, the park was beautiful, but the guide was really weird. Like, he was hitting on me and touching me and all this stuff. And luckily, I told her the story because I went into my room, and she came into my room later that night and was like, somebody came for you. The guide came for you. He was wasted, saying that you guys had a date, and I made him go away. And she actually, as a side job, was also a tour guide and knew him and was like, he's really bad news. Like, this is not a good guy. So I just wonder if maybe I hadn't said anything to her. I mean, luckily she also knew who he was, but what if she had let him in? This was kind of a creepy story, but my lesson from that one, I guess, like I said, don't be afraid to say something and do what you need to do to stay safe and enjoy the experience without being harassed, even if it means making other people uncomfortable maybe. The second story happened in Ecuador. It was actually the same backpacking trip, probably the next month. I was staying in a hostel, and I had met a guy. We were having drinks in our room, and we'd met in another city and started kind of traveling together. And I went downstairs in the hostel to get something from the guy at the front desk. And admittedly, I was pretty tipsy, but maybe, I don't know, maybe he saw some red wine stain on my mouth. I kind of got the hint that I had been drinking. And all of a sudden, and I had a dress on, I was against the wall. This guy was, you know, tongue down my throat, hand up my dress, like the whole thing. And I just, you know, went a little bit into shock and then kind of pushed him off, screamed, and ran away. It was almost like I blacked it out because it was so fast, and I was like, did this happen? Told the guy that I had been traveling with what happened. He ran downstairs, punched the hotel attendant, turned into a very big thing. Management was called and all that. And the crazy thing about this, and I'm sure some of the women can relate, is that the owner kept questioning me, are you sure this happened? Are you sure this happened? Again, I was a little bit tipsy, but I wasn't delusional. But it was to the point where I actually questioned myself, like, did this happen? Did I actually just dream that? Did I even walk downstairs? And this went on for a long time, questioning. And I got really like flustered and down on myself, and like just felt like, yeah, I was questioning myself. Luckily, at some point, the guy broke and admitted that it happened. He ended up getting fired and everything. But if he hadn't admitted it, I don't know if everyone would have fully believed me. So yeah, I'm glad that I was traveling with that guy. I'm glad I said something. If I hadn't been traveling with that guy, absolutely, looking back, I hope I would have called management and told them what happened. But, you know, I think the takeaway there, I'm sure there's many, but one is, don't let people question you to the point where you think you actually made something up that you know you did not make up. So that's kind of what I would say there. So those are just two stories that I think are important to understand and know, that there are things that you need to be aware of as a solo traveler, especially a female solo traveler, but by far the great experiences outweigh the bad ones. So I hope this doesn't scare anyone too much. And I plan to do more of these storytelling videos. They won't all be scary. Some will actually be really uplifting and inspire you to travel. But I just want to empower you with some knowledge and some stories. If you want to see more videos like this, also travel videos, travel blogging tips videos, make sure to subscribe or follow, depending where you're watching this from. And if you want to share a personal story about sexual assault, either at home or on the road, feel free to do so in the comments. But of course, if it's something personal that you just want to talk about, I know after I publish the blog post that I'll be linking, I got a lot of emails from women. Do feel free to email me at jessie@jessieonajourney.com, and I'll see you in the next video.